with the kind of data, the back series that has come in now. I know the economists were waiting for this data for a very long time, and although, as Mr. Sen is saying, that this is just one of the preliminary reports that has come in. How do you really view it? And does it really go on to show that India was perhaps going at a much faster pace under the UPA regime as compared to the NDA regime?
No, I would like to talk about the data more rather than the regimes. But one thing I have, after closely looking into the data, I mean, whatever information I could gather in the short span of time, I think the methodology still needs to be looked into, because if you look into the data very carefully for the last 14 years, you will find that the GVA numbers actually has been, I'm leaving aside the GDP numbers, the GVA numbers at the news backcasted series is actually fluctuating very widely. Let me take the example of 2010-11. In 2010-11, I think the GVA number was the GDP number was 10.7 and the 10.78, and the GVA number was around 9.4%. So there was a gap of 140 basis points. Possibly this could be explained by the fiscal expansion that was given by the government in that during that year to pull up the economy. But if you also look into the earlier years, in some years when actually the fiscal deficit were on a path of a consolidation mode, the gap between the GPA was actually lower than the GDP. So basically, that should not have been the GPA was higher than the GDP. So that should not have been the case. So I would like to look into the methodology more carefully before coming into the conclusion. But as Dr. Sen pointed out, directionally it was bound to happen, because when you are backcasting the old new series to the old series, the trends remain the same. But in terms of the fluctuations, in terms of the volatility, in terms of the gap between the GDP and the GPA, these are some of the questions that still remains to be answered by looking into the data trend very carefully.
Thanks for that.